Hi everyone, it's Brady and Joe here with Street Smart. Today we're going to talk about a super fun topic, winter readiness. Couldn't be more applicable. We're standing up here just south of St. Paul, Minnesota, in the middle of what might be a blizzard here today, about 10 degrees. So we're going to make this quick and just hit on a few tips and tricks for traffic safety professionals to keep equipment like you see behind us operational and kind of at its peak performance in the winter. So Joe Balaban is with me. Joe's coming up on 15 years with Street Smart. He's our nationwide operations director, and I would put him up against anyone in the industry in terms of keeping traffic safety equipment operational, anything to do with solar maintenance, battery maintenance, and overall equipment maintenance. So Joe, let's start off real quick. What are maybe a couple key things that every traffic safety professional should have in their truck as they're headed out to deploy equipment or to just check on their jobs when it's cold and when it's snowing like this?
Well, first and foremost, let's keep the crews nice and warm, right? Bring jackets, hats, gloves, the hand warmers you can put in your gloves. Have a sweeper, scraper for your vehicle, along with the solar panels and the trailers. Make sure that steel is nice and cleaned off. Cold steel becomes quite slippery.
Sure. Yeah. I'd be lying if I said I haven't slipped on a icy or a wet trailer, so it's a good point. My dad would always hound me as a kid to have all that winter stuff in the truck, so it's a good point to bring up. Next, obviously with this solar powered equipment, the panels and the batteries are critical to keep clean and in peak performance during the winter. So Joe, what are some of your kind of just high-level bullet points on solar and batteries, please?
Okay, well, let's start off with batteries. Make sure that your batteries are topped off with water. In these cold climates, anytime you top off batteries with water, you want to make sure to charge them. The charging mixes the water and the acid. Without charging it, that water and acid is going to stay separated. The water will freeze. You can damage the interior battery of the plates, and you can also crack the housing, which then renders the battery useless. So to keep them charged up, we got to make sure your solar panels are clean. So you want to sweep off your solar panels, something like this. You can also make your own broom with a very long pole on there.
Nice.
Well, sweep off the panels and make sure that they're clean anytime that it snows. It doesn't have to be perfect, even if the corners are exposed, as you see up there. Once the sun actually hits that dark material, it will melt the rest of it. Mm-hmm. So just make sure you have parts of it open. Now, with the angle of the solar panels, as you see here, in the north you want them angled at about 22 degrees. Farther south you get all the way down to Texas at about 45 degrees. The reason you want those angled is the sun's coming up on a lot lower angle. So point your solar panels to the south, have them at that angle, and the sun will hit it. It's going to improve charging efficiency, and it's also going to help the snow to fall right off the solar panels.
Sure. I know on all of our rental units, we have modems in them that allow us to monitor the battery health. So whether you have your own equipment or you're using ours, if that's something you want to talk about, we can help you out there. So give Joe or anyone on our team a call. Let's go back to the batteries real quick, Joe. If I open the battery box and check the water levels on a battery, it sounds like you said instead of filling it up out on the side of the road, you should almost swap that battery with maybe one you brought and then bring that one back to the shop to fill up with water?
Yeah, especially this time of year, I would say swapping out batteries is going to be the most efficient way to keep your stuff charged up. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you'd have to bring a charger out to a unit, have a generator run overnight. It's a lot easier to bring them in. Plus, your batteries are nice and warm. Batteries work best at 70 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, nice. Which would be next July for us.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's talk two things on the batteries. If I have a unit and the batteries are just frozen solid, will those batteries ever be the same?
No, they will not. They will come back. They just won't have the longevity, the 5 years. Okay. They call it a half-life. The battery will probably only work for about 2.5 years. But one key note is to make sure you do not try to use that battery as it's frozen or charge the battery as it's frozen. There is a chance that battery will crack and explode.
Okay.
So if it is frozen, the best thing to do is bring it into a nice warm area, open up all the vents, let it thaw fully, and then you can add water, you can charge it, the battery will recoup, you just won't have the longevity.
Okay. And then common myth, I think you've told me, people say you can't store batteries on concrete. Is that true?
That is definitely a myth.
Okay.
Storing them on concrete, where I think that came from is concrete's usually cold,
Okay.
so then it will, it'll help freeze the batteries, on that cold concrete. But it's not going to hurt the charge. It's not going to drain the battery or anything, keeping them on concrete.
All right. I think it's dropped like 5 degrees since we got out here. So let's wrap this thing up. Joe hit on, obviously, the importance of keeping those panels exposed, the batteries, and making sure they're full of water. I'm surprised you haven't talked about your portable battery tester yet. That's probably something you want to bring with. What is that, and what should they be looking for?
Yeah, anytime you're testing a battery, the best way to test them is through a load tester. A load tester on a GC2 battery, 6-volt battery, you want to run that at 300 amps for 15 seconds, and the voltage should never drop below 5 volts. A lot of people also use specific gravity testers, which is also another great way. Your specific gravity test should come at 1.280 to 1.300 on every cell.
That sounds good. Rain Man over here. I missed about half of what he said, but chances are if you need additional information, you have Joe's number. If not, give anyone on our team a call, and we'll walk you through any of this information, whether you're a customer or looking to become a customer, our equipment or your own equipment. We want to make sure we help you keep it operational. Joe, thank you. Let's get back inside where it's a little bit warmer, but thanks for this overview, and stay safe out there, everyone.